Hello and welcome into today's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devil Insider Podcast. And my name is Kevin Hicks. I will join you today as I have joined you every day for the last week and for the foreseeable future, as well as your host of this daily podcast. As you can see on the banner, give me a follow on X at khicks_21. The football summer practice season is about to pick back up for Arizona State football. So make sure to follow me. I will be at practice every single day, capturing footage of practice, press conferences, and everything in between. And I will do my best every single day to provide every Sun Devil fan with the most informative, most engaging, and most insightful content I possibly can. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for reading my stories on Arizona State on SI. And let's get started on today's episode. So for today's episode, I actually wanted to talk about the men's basketball program. That's kind of been a program that's been lost in the fray over the last few months. Ever since Arizona State women's basketball hired Molly Miller, that reinvigorated the program. The football program is looking to be a top 10 team heading into the 2025 season. The baseball program just made the NCAA tournament. The golf program just made the NCAA tournament. Well, the men's basketball program is kind of stuck in a rut right now. Last season, Bobby Hurley went into the 2024-25 season with high hopes after securing a top 10 recruiting class for the Sun Devils in the entire nation. He got Amir Ali, a four-star recruit, Josan Sanin, a borderline five-star recruit. I believe he was four-star by the majority of services, and Jaden Quaintance, who was the crown jewel of the class, who originally committed to Kentucky but chose Arizona State after John Calipari departed to Arkansas. All three of the freshmen flashed at various points in the season, especially Quaintance. Quaintance is working his way towards being a top 5 draft pick in the 2026 NBA draft. But after the Sun Devils faltered in conference play, they went 4-16 and lost the opening game of the Big 12 tournament. Things were not looking great. Sanin was the first domino to fall. He transferred out. He went to St. John's to play for Rick Pitino. Quaintance ended up going to Kentucky like he originally was supposed to. And Amir Ali went to Mississippi State to play for a rising program. And to make matters worse, to rub some more salt in the wound, Koa Pete chose Arizona over Arizona State. Those were the two programs that were widely considered at the top of the race for him. And reports stated that it was a last-minute decision to go with Arizona, and that's likely what caused the mass exodus of Quaintance and others transferring out. So Bobby Hurley is once again tasked with rebuilding an Arizona State roster for the fourth time in as many seasons, and it's the roster still has work to he still has work to do on the roster to get it to a complete stage ahead of the season opener in early November, but he's done a fairly decent job. I don't think people are giving him enough credit for the players that he's brought into this program going into 2025 season. Let's start off with the high school recruits. He got Marcus Jackson and Jayon Pitt, both four-star power forwards in this year's class. They're both 100, top 110 in the nation for the 2025 class. Jackson actually attended the Word of God school it's in North Carolina. Word of God Christian Academy in Raleigh. So that is the same school that Trevor Best, who's a current Arizona State point guard who enrolled midway through the season last year, attended, and Jaden Quaintance attended that school as well. So Bobby has clearly built a rapport with that program. There's a level of comfort between Arizona State and Word of God, and let's see if that pays off this season with Marcus Jackson. Now, Jayon Pitt, on the other hand, is a local recruit. He is the number 109 recruit nationally, number 4 in the state of Arizona, and he is currently going to Bella Vista Prep in Scottsdale. So another example of Bobby going in state and keeping somebody in state. Well, that's not all that common with Arizona State basketball. It does happen on occasion, and it happened here. And here's to hoping that that's a sign of things to come once Desert Financial Arena gets renovated. If the program has a bounce back year and the trajectory looks to be improved once again, it's a possibility. So now let's look at the transfers. Hurley got 5 transfers come in over the portal period, but let's look at the 3 major ones that are expected to make the biggest impact on the team in the 2025-26 season. So we're going to start off with Mo Odom, who's a point guard. He spent his first 2 seasons at Pacific University before transferring to Pepperdine, and he is very much in the mold of a traditional point guard that Arizona State could desperately need. While the Sun Devils have had talented rosters over the last several seasons, they have tended to struggle finding a pure point guard. Frankie Collins could have been that pure point guard. He was a very quality playmaker. He was a great defender. He seemed to always make the right play. He was sneaky athletic and was able to get to the hoop fairly easily. He just didn't have a consistent jump shot, and that ended up hurting the Arizona State offense on certain occasions throughout the years of him with the program. Last year, you had Alston Mason, you had B.J. Freeman, you had Joson Santa, and most of them were score-first guards, and there really wasn't a table setter for the offense. Before that, you had DJ Horn, who was more of a score-first guard. So it looks like Hurley is truly going into addressing the need for a pure point guard to organize the offense. And Mo Odom could be just that guy. He averaged 13.5 points, 7.5 assists, 13.1 points, my bad. 7.5 assists, and shot 38% from three-point range last season at Pepperdine. That three-point percentage is a big deal as well because that's nearly 10% increase from his previous season at Pacific in 2023-24. So there's high hopes that Mo Odom could be the guy that Bobby Hurley has been looking for years. Now let's go to Marcus Adams Jr. He could very well project to be Arizona State's best player this upcoming season. He averaged 16.1 points per game and shot over 39% from three at Cal State Northridge after being a four-star recruit in the class of 2023. He was originally committed to Kansas, then switched his commitment to Brigham Young, and played sparingly at BYU before transferring to Cal State Northridge. Now he's making his return to Power 4 basketball. The 6'8 forward can score anywhere on the court. He's a solid 3-level scorer. He's sneakily athletic. He's a dynamic player, both catch and shoot and off the dribble. He could very well be near the top of the Big 12 leaderboard when it comes to scoring average by the end of the season. So he is certainly a player to be excited about. And lastly, let's look at Alan Mukeba, a transfer out of Oakland University in Michigan. He averaged 14.6 points per game and 7.5 rebounds per game despite being 6'6". He's built a lot like Zion Williamson. He's a dynamic athlete. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty down low. He has a soft touch at the rim. Well, that does mean that he's not focused on stretching the floor out. ASU really could use that bruiser that previous successful teams under Bobby Hurley did have. Like, let's think about Romello White. Let's think about Kimani Lawrence. Let's think about Devin Cambridge. Let's think about even Zylan Cheatham. There were so many examples of the archetype of wings, bigs, doesn't really matter what position, but players that just played with a special brand of physicality, had that innate athletic ability to get downhill, to pressure the rim, to get to the free throw line, to create advantages for other players, particularly on the perimeter. Mukeba could be that player. And it seems like Hurley is really looking back at the error of his ways when it came to building rosters in his past seasons as head coach at ASU. It looks like he's really done a lot of reflecting, and he's looking to make up for those mistakes, at least that he perceives he made. And that should be very respectable in the eyes of Arizona State fans, because this year could be a lame duck year for Hurley. It's a make or break year, and he seems to be making all the right moves right now. Let's see if he can curate another season with his back against the wall that leads to him saving his job, leads to Arizona State making it back to the NCAA tournament, as we saw previously in 2018-19 and 2022-23. Those were very similar scenarios, and let's see if he can do it again. This Arizona State team could surprise people this upcoming season. Mark my words. All right, that's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. My name is Kevin Hicks. Follow me on X at khicks_21. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to the podcast today. Hope it was informative for those that aren't aware of the current makeup of Arizona State basketball going into the next season. And see you tomorrow.